Hey there, Marcus here. This video is sponsored by Freely Give. Freely Give helps you with anything in the landscape that is Drupal and AI. So if you need consultancy, if you need development help, please just reach out to us and we will be able to help you. So I'm going to talk about this module today, AI agents. And some of you might have either been in Drupalcon Barcelona and saw the Driesnote, or you might have seen it in a YouTube video, or maybe read about it by now. And what he showcased there is what I'm gonna showcase how to install. So that is using a chat window to use natural language to change your Drupal website. So do actual changes. And we're gonna use something called AI agents for this. So agents in AI can have a little bit different meanings. In this case, it's usually what's called an agent that does text to action. So it's not just that it's a LLM that can take an input and output some other values that you can pass on to another agent. In this case, it's an agent that actually takes input that's free text. So instructions, what you want to do, like I want to add an image field to this content type. You just write that and give that to that agent, and it will go ahead and do this. Now, this is a plugin system, which means that I'm also going to show you other graphical interfaces that you can interact with these agents. So it is possible to use any graphical interface, any kind of module can interact with these plugins. Since it's a plugin system, it's also possible to create your own agents. I will get into that more in detail later. But for now, we're just gonna get this installed. Before I do this, there's one thing that I really want to stress. This is a proof of concept. It's highly experimental. When you're using it, especially inside a chatbot where you might have multiple agents and you might have a RAG system and so on, sometimes it doesn't understand what you're trying to ask. So it might sometimes take a couple of tries. What I want to stress is don't use this in production. You can use it in a production system where you're developing locally and use them locally to do your changes. It's already quite powerful for this, and you can export them and import them in the production system, but do not put them in the production system right now. I would highly recommend against this. And it's very much a moving target. Right now there's just a dev release, and this dev release goes against then the Drupal's AI modules dev releases at all time, until we have an actual alpha ready release for this. So with that said, I will showcase now how to install it. So you just need basically to use Composer to get this into your project. So I'm just gonna use it here. I'm using ddev in this case. That's why I have to prepend it with ddev. And this is also then gonna get the AI module in the dev version. And that is it. Then I have this Drupal system. It's completely clean. I'm just gonna start installing stuff here then. So we need the AI agents, and this is gonna install the AI module. However, when you have installed the AI module, you also need to choose a provider. So a provider is a service, a third-party service that can do, in this case, it has to be able to do LLMs. So there are a couple of LLMs that are on the level that you can use this. So one is OpenAI, the GPT-4o. One is Anthropic using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. One is using Fireworks AI, so that's an external module, or Bedrock, Amazon Bedrock, that is also an external module that you can download. Let me just showcase those. So there is this AI provider AWS Bedrock that you can download to get that available, or there's also Fireworks AI, and both these then has Llama 405B that you can use. That is the best in class from Meta. That is, it's open, so it's not just it's something that in theory you could host yourself, though it requires crazy expensive hardware, so no one in their normal minds would use it right now. So in this case, I'm just going to show you with OpenAI because that's still the most popular provider, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and install the OpenAI provider. Then after that, I need to go up and set it up under provider settings, OpenAI authentication, but I don't have a key right now. Well, I have a Hugging Face key, but that won't help me. So I'm going to create a new key called OpenAI key. And in this case, I'm just gonna pull this out now so you can't see when I'm adding this key, but what I'm adding is just the key that you can find in platform.openai.com. Let me find this. So right, so there we go. So now we have OpenAI key, which means I can go back to my provider again, provider settings, and choose OpenAI key. When I save this, it's gonna set a lot of defaults by here when you have a clean website. So basically for each so-called operation type, an operation type can be something like embeddings, it can be a chat, it can be text to image. So it's different type of operations that AI can do. There are different providers, and those providers can basically, when they get installed, raise their hand and say, okay, if there is no default provider, I want to be a default provider for this kind of operation type. And OpenAI is very special because they have a lot of different services. Many people use ChatGPT, so they might not know that they can create audio there. You can upload audio and use as instead of text, and there's other ways you can interact with it. So it sets this by default. If you want to change these are on the configuration AI default settings. Now there is one important thing here with the agents. They don't have their own settings page for this yet. We're gonna add this later, but right now, whatever you set in chat with complex JSON as the default provider, that's what they're gonna use. So these are models that can handle very complex JSON outputs, which is basically a requirement for this, what we're trying to do here. So when you have done that, the next step is that you can actually start using them, but we haven't installed a GUI yet. So we can start with installing some of the fixed GUIs in this case. So let's try AI. Let's see here what we have. Oh, right, we need to get unstructured as well. So unstructured is something you can use to read into different projects, different file types, so like PDF or Word file or Excel files, and use those as the context for what you're creating. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install this then, and after I install this, I would have to set it up as well. So let's see here. Oh, right, AI. Reload again. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the AI assisted content type, something that can generate content types, right? Now I'm not gonna set up unstructured. So if we set up unstructured, you can for instance have a PDF that has, you know, I don't know, say a hotel review with some different descriptions and an image and a title and maybe some rating or something, and you can just upload this to this GUI I'm gonna show you now. So under structure content types, there is now a button called generate with AI. So in this way, you can actually use a context file. Now this is not gonna work until I set this up. So you can go into the unstructured documentation to see how that works. But what will work is prompt and name. For website, it's the same thing there. There's something called a simple crawler that you can download. So if you get the dev version of this, it's just gonna work with crawling websites as well. So you can basically look at a website and copy that website's structure. But in this case, we're just gonna create a new structure type we can say hotel review. I want to, and then we're just gonna do a prompt here. Generate a hotel review content type that has a description field with HTML, an image field that is required, and a ratings field 1 to 5, right? And then we just click generate content type here. You can click show blueprint there, by the way. Then you're gonna get like a YAML preview before it actually starts adding this. So what's happening now, there are two agents in this case. There's a content type agent and there's a field type agent, and they are linked using this GUI. And it's gonna go ahead now then and create the content type and add the fields. So we have this content type, we have a title, description, image, and a rating. That's a list that I'm guessing is 1 to 5, right? So that's pretty cool, I guess. What we can go ahead and do now is I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to showcase that this is aware of what you have installed on your website as well. So we're going to take 5-star rating, I think it's called. Or if it's 5-star rating Drupal. 5-star is just called. Okay, that was easier. So we're just going to go ahead and install 5-star here now. And I'm just going to show you that this actually becomes aware of this. So let me open that in a new tab when this is finished downloading. So we're gonna reload and we're gonna add the 5-star field and click continue. And if I now go ahead and write this again, I want to create hotel review content type with HTML description field, an image field, and a rating field 1 to 5. Well, let's write 5-star rating field, because if I write rating field 1 to 5, the problem and what makes AI so cool is that it's not deterministic. So it might actually take 5-star field, or it might once again create a list field. So in this case, I'm more verbose, like telling it, please do a 5-star rating field. And I mean, this goes similar to how it works for human beings that actually do this, right? Because if you were to ask an intern that might not know so much about Drupal, they might choose a list or they might choose a 5-star rating. And yeah, that is what we got here. 5-star rating instead of select field 1 to 5, number of stars 5. So this is one GUI. And as I said, it's just a plugin system that there is a runner service for, that anyone can basically give any kind of free text to invoke specific agents if they want to do whatever the agent might be able to do. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to add a chatbot, and to do this we're going to use our assistants API. And if you have followed videos that has come out from Freely Give, where I work, from Jamie, my boss, you might have seen this. So this is a typical system where you can create assistants of different kind. So they're kind of similar to the OpenAI assistants, where you can plug in different kind of action system to them. So one thing is RAG or vector databases that makes it possible to chat with your content in a natural way, where you can, you know, ask in a natural way to find something, and it can find it based of the meaning of what you write rather than the actual search words. So that's the assistance API, but it can also interact with the agents then. On top of that, we need the chatbot. The chatbot is just like GUI that can use the assistance API. So the assistance API is similar to the agents API, that it's an API that you can actually use any GUI for. So if you don't like this chatbot, you can create another chatbot, or you can create some other kind of GUI that is maybe a simple search field or question field with just a follow-up question or something like that. So the chatbot is just a block that showcases how you can use the assistance API. So we're gonna set this up now. To do that, what we need to do is first set up an assistant, and in this case we're gonna just make an assistant that can only work with the agents. So we're gonna add an assistant that we called Drupal helper. We give it a description. We can allow history. That means in the chatbot, when you have history, that means that you can ask a question, it gives an answer, and then you can follow up on this. So it becomes more like a natural conversation. And this is extra important when it comes to agents, because it might be that the agent doesn't have enough information to do what you're requesting it to do and asks for more information. If you don't have sessions, this is not gonna work, basically. You can give a pre-prompt system role, or you should give one. So you are assistant helping out on a Drupal website with helping the administrator doing actions. We don't need to add extra pre-prompt instructions in this case, I think. So there are basically two parts to this. So there is something, well, the semantics of this is not set yet. So it might be that we're gonna rename this, but right now there's something called a pre-prompt. And the pre-prompt takes whatever you're writing or whatever is in the chat thread and asks a LLM, what are they trying to do? Because take the example where you want to create a content type with fields. That are two different agents that you want to invoke. So the pre-prompt makes sure to split this into two different actions that it's asking these two different agents to do, or maybe even ask the field agent then to do multiple fields, which might be multiple questions. This is then gonna respond what happens, and then you have the assistance message, and the assistant message is basically just what happened. This is the answer. So one thing you should know about this, there is this pre-prompt, it's under advanced settings. I'm gonna showcase how we can turn this on, how we can turn on so we can change this, because in this case what this comes with is a very specific prompt for doing RAG searching. So we have focused a lot before on RAG searching, and the agent stuff, that's very experimental, while the RAG searching is a little bit more mature. But because we have to do agents in this case, we're gonna focus on a little bit more of a complex prompt in this case. This also means that the assistance message should change a little bit. So we can just write like this, based on the answers from the assistant, please forward this to the end user. Because with RAG you usually say basically that you know, if you don't find any results, just say that you didn't find anything, or otherwise answer based on these results. In this case, the agent's answers in a human readable way, so we just basically need the assistant to forward this, right? please answer using marked. We don't have to. This is actually enough because this agent is just gonna be used for admin purposes, so we don't really have to put much effort, at least for this showcase, on how it's supposed to answer. So you can of course make this more complex depending on if it's for an editor, if it's for you as a site builder and so on. And that the same goes for the pre-prompt, of course, because on a beginner, for instance, in Drupal might refer to views as, so the views module as like pages or blocks, or I want to create a page and so on. And then you might have to clarify that in the pre-prompt. But we just keep it very short like this, and we're going to enable the agents actions. These are the agents that comes with the module as it is today. You can get agents from external modules as well, so it's a plugin system. If the idea is later that the agents should come from the modules themselves. So if we have a views agent, it would maybe make more sense that it was in the views module actually, and so on. But for now it's here, so we're just gonna turn on, well, we can turn them all on. The thing is, the web form agent or any agent works very similar to how a module can have dependencies. So if I'm asking it to create a web form now and I don't have the web form module installed, it's just gonna tell me, well, first you need to install the web form module, otherwise I can't do anything. So we just turn on everything. As I said, GPT-4o or Claude 3.5 or Llama 405, those are the models that kind of just works with this. We're just gonna save here, and then I'm gonna show you here in advanced settings on how you can do this. It's in the bottom here. You put this in the settings PHP that you want to turn on advanced mode basically. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we go to site default settings.php. We just put this here in the end, reload, and this might be very complicated, but what you can do if you just want to do the AI agents and not combine them with RAG, in the AI agents module under resources, there is actually a pre-action prompt that you can just copy like this. You just copy and paste it, and that's gonna work fairly well. So now we have set up the assistance API. The last thing is we just need to expose it as a block. So we just go to structure, block layout. We just want it in the admin theme for now. It's just the admin that's gonna use it. So we just put it on the content. There's this AI chatbot that we can enable. We use the AI assistant Drupal helper. We say Drupalbot, we can call it. We don't want to display the title. And hello, how can I help you modify Drupal today? Save this, and we have a chatbot here. So let's try this out. What we can do now is, if we go to content types, I'm just gonna do first of all ask it to change the name of the hotel review content type. Review, change the content type hotel reviews name to restaurant review for me. So it asks me to confirm. This is in the pre-prompt. If it's modification, it will always ask you to confirm. Otherwise it will go ahead and do it. If it's creation, deletion, we have just, it's not allowed at the moment. Let's see. Okay, it told me how to do it. Can you do it for me? Let's see how it answers. So maybe the AI assistant message I added there wasn't the best actually. So it has gone ahead and done it, but those answers were not good, so we're gonna go ahead and modify this a little bit again. AI agent set, no, sorry, AI assistant settings. Oh, by the way, there is agent settings where you can see which roles has access to something, or you can set which roles has access to something. An agent, you can see what they do, and you can see the prompts that leads it to doing what it does. But I'm gonna come back to that in another video, exactly how it works technically. So this is just about setting it up, right? Based on the data you get back from the agents, give a short and concise answer back to the user. So let's see if this works better. So yeah, one more thing we can ask it now, by the way, is this: what can you do? So it can actually tell us, like, what can the AI agents do. So here you go. Here are some of the actions I can help with: views agent, taxonomy agent, web form agent, node content type agent, field type agent, right? So let us just try then with something else here. Taxonomy. Could you generate let's use a little bit non-Drupal-y terms. That is called football players. And the cool thing that you can do with this is then you can interact and ask about general knowledge, right? So it has gone ahead and created this. If I reload, and then I can ask something like this: do you know the starting 11 of Manchester United's team in the Champions League final 1999? So this is football fans. Okay, it can't actually answer. I might have to write like this: could you add all the players from so the reason it answered to the category type football players as new terms. So the answer it answered like this is because of the pre-prompt. I maybe made it too strict, actually, that it can't go to its own database to look for information, which is of course not super. In this case, what happens actually, it's gonna bypass the pre-prompt, because the pre-prompt understand, okay, this is something that the taxonomy agent should take care of, right? So it passes to this, and the taxonomy agent is pretty free where it can get stuff like that. So you have seen it gotten the information. It knows about Outlier, like Jesper Blomqvist started that game. I'm Swedish, that's why I know he started that game. He wasn't one of the in the starting 11. And now then, if I go to the actual vocabulary, it has added this. So this is a very, very good way of seeding content. Then of course, since it is an AI that does not necessarily look up this in databases or scrape it, you have to be a little bit careful. That's why we have like other GUIs where you can get it from websites or get it from PDFs or Word documents, so you can base it on real context, so it's always gonna be true. Yeah, so that's it. Then you have a AI chatbot that you can start asking to do stuff on the Drupal website. Thank you for watching.